Hello! Today I'm going to show you how to create this layered paint aging effect. It's really easy to do and it's a lot of fun as well, and I began by coating the piece of furniture using wood dye and a dark oak colour, and then for the paint layers I've used normal household emulsion, and I've used these rather sort of bright colours just to show you how the technique works. But you can use whatever colours you like. You don't have to do the wood dye base if you don't want to. You can just use the emulsion paint, and you can use as few or as many colours as you choose. And this effect works really well to create the look of a really old, well used, slightly battered piece of furniture or miniature. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a coat of wood dye in dark oak, and I've dispensed some into a pot rather than keep dipping my brush into the tin, as it's quite a large area. Now, you don't have to start off with the wood dye, you can just start with your paint, but once I've sanded back I want it to look as though the original bench was dark oak, and some of that dark wood will be showing through in places. Okay, so the wood dye is now completely dry. I left that drying overnight, so we can now apply the paint. Now I've gone for 4 colours. It's got this lovely lime green, bright cerise pink, lovely deep purple, and then this bright blue. Now I'm going to use the bright blue as the top coat, and these 3 underneath, but you can use as many or as few colours as you like. You could just apply a base coat and either a stain or a paint colour, and then you could just use one paint colour on top and sand back to reveal the base coat. But I'm going for the maximum amount because I really just want to showcase the technique. So you don't have to use all of these bright colours, and you don't have to use as many. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the pink, so I've just given that a really good shake. Now it doesn't really matter which colour you start off with. Let's wipe the excess off the brush there. I'm not going to use that brush. And then you just want to apply it randomly onto your piece of furniture. And there really are no rules here. You can just be as random as you like. Try not to even think about it too much. It's actually quite good fun just being as messy as you can. Not with the paint, but where you're sort of putting it. Of course, if you're just going to use an undercoat and a top coat, you would do this second coat all over. Okay, and I think I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to leave that to dry before we move on to the next colour. That colour has dried now, so I'm going to have a go with the purple. Really lovely colour, this one. And again, completely random. And it doesn't matter if you go over the previous colour a little bit. In fact, it works better if you do. That's the purple layer done. Once again, I shall leave that to dry. Okay, so it's now time to apply the final undercoat, and this time I just want to fill in all the gaps, so I want all the wood dye to be covered. And isn't that a fab colour? Again, I'm going to overlap slightly. So that's the yellow coat, and I did go over quite a bit with it just because it's such a great colour, and I think sanding back that'll look really good underneath the blue. So once that's dried, I shall give the final blue coat over the entire surface, and then we'll start the aging technique. Okay, so the paint is now completely dry. That's actually been drying for about a day and a bit. And isn't that a wonderful colour? So I'm now going to take quite a harsh sandpaper. This is 180 grade, and I'm just going to start sanding away the top layer of paint. And it doesn't matter where you start. And you don't need to go too heavily with the sandpaper either. And already I can see some yellow and purple coming through on that leg there. And normally when sanding away, I would say think about the areas where sort of natural wear and tear occurs, like along the edges of arms, tops of posts and things like that, along the seat. But in this case you can sort of go quite mad with it really and just sand away wherever you want that lovely colour to come through. Go heavier in certain areas so that you get right down to that base colour, the oak stain. And you can even go heavier still and go right down to the bare wood in places if you want to. I'm using a less harsh sandpaper as well, a 500, just where I want to take away the sort of top layer of the blue, and also sort of fold your sandpaper into little squares so you can get into all the little sort of nooks and crannies. Or you can also wrap it around a scrap piece of wood to create a nice edge, and that will allow you to sort of get under ridges and things like that. Like that. So I've done on that side there. I really like how that's looking. I'm going to turn round and start on the other side. On the seat part here, I've sanded right back to the wood along the front edge, which would have sort of been worn away where people have been sitting. And just to say as well, lots of paint dust will come off when you're doing this, so do make sure you wear your mask and protective glasses as well if you have them. And there is the completed bench, and I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. I've also made an old tea chest and used the same technique, and I think this technique really suits that look, that sort of old battered look. So like I said earlier, you can use as few or as many colours as you like. It all depends on sort of what you're using it for. You might want to make something as distressed as this, maybe for an abandoned project, or maybe use fewer colours to make a piece for your contemporary doll's house. It's just a really simple and fun technique to do. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please do give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done so already, as there's lots more to come. And if you enjoy making your own doll's house furniture and miniatures, you might like my books. I've published 4 of them so far, and they're all available to purchase from Amazon. I'll pop a link below, or you can just search Amazon for Julie Warren and you'll find them. And for now, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.